Since you've been saying a lot of stuff that you said earlier in the season, especially about the Texans, I believe you also said earlier in the season that you think the Titans should fire Mike Vrabel because he's a bad coach. And that's just how I remember it. I'm not sure how everyone else does, but obviously Mike Vrabel gets let go, and pretty clear at this point if Bill Belichick leaves, he'll probably end up in New England. But did you expect that to happen? Did you also kind of were surprised by the fact that they didn't trade Mike Vrabel instead of just cutting bait with him? And what do you think he's going to do? And how pissed off do you think that he is that he got fired?
I'm definitely surprised. I mean, I think most people are surprised. Mike Vrabel is a very good football coach. He's an extremely knowledgeable guy. He obviously played in the league for a long time. He knows how to relate to his guys. He knows how to get the most out of his guys. Yes, the last probably year and a half, 2 years, their record and everything probably wasn't as good as they want it to be, and it's understandable. But Mike Vrabel is a very good coach, and I think you have to look at a situation like that and you say, okay, if you're going to fire him, who are you bringing in that you think right now is a truly better coach than Mike Vrabel? And that's a tough barrier to reach. In terms of first of all, as a Houston fan, and obviously TJ playing for the Steelers, much appreciated on the way out the door, winning that game against the Jaguars, getting both of those guys in and getting the Texans in the AFC South Championship. But it's wild, man. It is wild. Do I think that you asked, do I think that he's happy? I think you asked if I think he's happy about it. I mean, obviously if something wasn't working out, whether it was, communication, whether it was visions, whatever it may be, or maybe it was just purely they wanted to go a different direction. Being a free agent and him having the ability to choose exactly what he wants to do next, where he wants to go, as opposed to the trade route, having to wait, having to figure out compensation.
Too hard.
I do understand, that does get messy, and for him, it is definitely better that it's just he's a free agent right now.
Certainly better. Definitely better, let alone the Wink Martindale situation going on in New York, where allegedly he just walked into Daboll's office, told him he thinks he's a big, fat, dumb stooge who can't coach football and he doesn't want to be here. Why don't you fire me? Just fire me. Go ahead, do it. You won't do it. Obviously, you won't. You're such a bad coach. You won't fire me. Allegedly. Now, these are all not real things that were actually said. We are just giving our take on what could have potentially happened, as reports have...
You can't do that. You can only say real things. You can only say real things.
Yeah, that's what everybody else does.
We've talked about these types of things before. How serious is that reporter up there? Like, are we 70% confident? Because that's an exciting story. I mean, it's just. I love picturing an exit interview. All the exit interviews I've ever been in are like the most cordial, all right, we'll see you later. I would love to see an exit interview just go completely sideways.
You suck. I hate my life working for you. You see John Harbaugh? He was on the sidelines with Jim Harbaugh. He's won the national championship there in one seed. I met Jack Harbaugh. He won an FCS national championship. Those are real coaches to coach for. I wish I was still there. Here I'm with you. It sucks. Remember you said...
Have you had a bad exit interview?
No. No, I didn't meet with...
They're the most benign things ever.
Well, normally I would have an okay year, so then it was just like, hey, we'll see you in the offseason. You got it. When I went in when my contract was up, changeover of power.
Yeah.
So there was no real, that could have been one. I guess it would have been awkward. But other than that, just keep it moving. How you doing? But that whole thought of, if they fire him, he can go coach the Eagles.
Yeah.
If he resigns, he can't coach the Eagles, and he doesn't get the $3 million, I think, that he's owed next year to be on contract. So who's playing chess? Who's trying to move on? We don't know. But Mike Vrabel, a trade takes too long. That's what Amy Strunk said, the owner of the Tennessee Titans, who is also the one who owns the rights to the Houston Oilers uniforms. Here's Amy Strunk talking about, everybody thinks he's a straight coach, on the firing of Mike Vrabel.
There's been discussion in a lot of different circles about the possibility of trading the head coach. Was consideration given to trading Mike Vrabel?
Well, yes, there was, but there's a bit of misconception about a coach's contract, say, versus a player's contract. A coach's contract, you can't trade them unless they're a willing partner to that trade. So, yes, we thought about it, but at the end of the day, with league rules the way they are, it would have maybe put us back 3 weeks, And, you know, honestly, to get the right head coach, I was just not willing to go to the back of the line and take a chance of missing out on someone we really wanted.
Okay. Amy says she ain't going back along.
No way.
That ain't what the Houston Oilers do.
Not now, not never.
That is not what the Tennessee Titans do. So they decide to fire him. Now, there was also a comment made by her about alignment and everything. And then it came out the other day about Vrabel not necessarily being on board with the Rand hire whenever it happened. He wanted somebody else. I assume they were told Rand that at some point. So it feels like this was a train crash that was coming, inevitably. But now Vrabes is a guy that could just go coach anywhere he wants. Now, if we didn't have Shane Steichen, I would be like, Jim Irsay, take the plane and guitar.
Sure.
4 packs of Zyn.
Yep.
Maybe 3 logs of Coke.
Right.
14 vapes, Marlboro Reds.
Right.
And might as well get some whiskeys.
Right.
Some beers.
Right.
And you go try to win over this Ohio guy to come bring his culture to Indianapolis. We got Shane Steichen. I'm happy about that. But there's going to be a lot of places that want to do that. So when you hear the owner speak in that particular fashion, how does it make you feel? And what do you think Vrabel does next? Do you think he takes a year off? Do you think he goes and coaches? Do you think he is incredibly pumped when he walked in there, potentially like Wink Martindale?
Yeah.
And then she was like, "You're fired." He was like,
Oh, awesome.
What? You sure?
Dang it.
Bummer.
Come on.
This team has so much promise.
Darn.
"Do I get to clean out my?" Yeah. Thank you. All right.
Can I keep the cowboy hat?
Did he get fired?
Oh.
Could you imagine him in his office after he got fired? Just ripping cigs.
Whoever
inside.
moving in.
Yeah. Whoops. Gonna need new carpets.
That's wild, dude. It's a wild scene. It really is, because how everybody else but them, I think that he's the right guy to hire. And there's 6 openings right now, if you count the AP. Could be 7 if Bill Belichick and the Patriots decide to move along. But Connor's already got him up in New England.
Yeah, it's done. I mean, like, I understand there's 6 other openings, possibly 7, and Mike Reese, like we said yesterday, did, say that it was a Hail Mary attempt, basically, if Bill is going to stay at this point. But Foxy has it. You might as well run it, Foxy. This is what Vrabel said this year in New England.
Wait. Come on, we got a game to win. I can't be up here that long.
This guy's still the head coach of a different team.
I want to thank the fans. I haven't been back as much as I should since 2009, but I want to thank the fans. I want to thank the fans that made coming and playing in this stadium unbelievably special.
No problem,
When
Mike.
we traveled, you were there. When we were here, you were there. I can imagine how you screamed and yelled at the night games on 3rd down, and when you threw the snow, and every memory that comes back right now. So I want to thank you, fans, okay, for the opportunity to stand here today in front of you. Also in front of my teammates, I want to thank them. I want to recognize Logan Makins, Bill Parcells, Dante Scarnecchia, who was one of the toughest assistant coaches I've ever been a part of in 25 years in the National Football League.
Go.
But I also want you not to take this organization for granted. I've been a lot of places. This is a special place with great leadership, great fans, great direction, great coaching. Enjoy it. It's not like this everywhere. Thank you very much.
That was when he went into the Patriots Hall of Fame, and Connor and a lot of the Patriots fans that are looking forward to a potential Vrabel era have just been bopping to that for the last 24 hours.
Yeah, how could you know? I've been bricked up for a while. I had to call a doctor like to tell you in the Viagra commercials. But, I mean, it's not like he's played in a bunch of trash, cities either.
Or coached.
Or coached for, exactly. I mean, he's played in Pittsburgh, clearly. It's not the same in Pittsburgh like it is in New England. Kansas City, he's played there as well. There are a lot of places that just don't match up to what New England brings. And we were talking about it before the show. What has Bill Belichick done for the last 25 years? He's always thought about the team's future. He's always, picked guys for the future. Jimmy G, it caused a riff, caused a little tizzy, if you will, within the organization with the Jimmy G hiring. But what was he doing? He's thinking about the future. And who would we be? Who would Bob Kraft be if he didn't think about the future? And Bill, he's going to break the all-time wins record. He is the greatest coach and GM of all time. But he's got, 5, 10, if we're being hopeful, years left in the NFL. Mike Vrabel's got 25, about 30, 40 years left in the NFL. So why wouldn't we consider that when talking about the future of, the greatest franchise in the league, especially when you are on the cusp of getting a quarterback that will be your quarterback for the next 20 years that Mike Vrabel could pick.
Now, if it's announced that Bill Belichick's coming back, you're going to be pumped.
I'm going to be just as bricked up as I am right now.
But if Vrabes is the replacement, and Robert Kraft was playing closed Sicilian in tampering, you know?
Oh, yeah, he was.
Oh, my. Let's put the guy in the Hall of Fame. It's during a bye week. That'll be no problem. Let's get him back in front of these crowds. Let's get him back in here. Let's do a little nostalgia. Night before, we'll watch a video. Got some Barnecchia here. Got some people here. That's a wild way to go.
Would he wear the red jacket on the sidelines?
He can wear whatever the hell he wants. The
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's good.
Patriots Hall of Fame jacket. It's just, it's me.
Right there. Me. That's my name. That's awesome. That could happen. Steelers get a win over the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
No, too low. We'll never go to Houston. Unless it goes to the
You never know.
AFC champions. You could be playing. That could be a situation, that you find yourself in.
Exactly.
Pointing up. Okay, JJ. But the whole Vrabel situation, fascinating. The coaching thing. What makes a good coach, you think? You talked about D'Amico and being able to get his message across. Why do you think some coaches just can't do it? Like the Bill Belichick tree, pretty much, seemingly. Yep. And why do you think some people have it? And how many great coaches are there at any given time in the NFL at head position?
To be a truly great coach, you have to have a culmination of multiple different things. There's a lot of coaches out there that are good at one thing, good at another. Maybe they're really, really smart when it comes to X's and O's, but they can't relate to the players. Maybe there's guys that have great charisma and are unbelievable with the players and speaking to the guys, but they're just not quite as smart when it comes to game planning or getting a team ready for a certain week. Or maybe a coach isn't good at in-game adjustments or making game management decisions. Special coaches bring all of that together. They have a brilliant, deep knowledge of the game. They understand it at a level that players clearly see it. They understand it, and when you're going into their meetings, this guy is going to teach me something. I'm going to be better because of what this guy is teaching me. Then the coach has to have the ability, the personality, and the charisma to get that information to the players and to pull the greatness out of them, because he can take that knowledge and give it to them in a relatable manner where they can take it onto the field and execute it. And then he's got to be a motivator. At the end of the day, when two teams are matched up and it's a 50-50 matchup, he's got to be able to be the one to take his team, motivate them, and elevate them to play at a higher level than they themselves even knew they could play at. So all of those things have to come together, and it's extremely difficult because, as you know, you've been around plenty of coaches. Some guys really smart, some guys really charismatic, rarely both.
How many you think in a league at any given moment, like in the NFL? You think there's like 15 great coaches? 10 great coaches?
15 is too many. No, I don't think there's 15. I'm going to leave one more thing out. Another thing great coaches have is the ability to identify and enhance their coaching staffs. Like, they need to have good people around them, and they need to also give those guys the responsibilities and let them do what they need to do and let them show their skills, as opposed to micromanaging and trying to be the one person that handles it all. A great coach is so confident that he lets his assistant coaches be great as well.